how to find spots at long range and the equipment I use to do so. First of all, got the new SLR long range float. Stands for super long range, long, thin, aerodynamic with a dart flight on the top. Flies like an absolute dream. But I don't use that immediately. The first thing I do when I'm trying to find a spot at long range is I plumb with a bare lead. This is a probe lead, and I try and always use a really heavy lead. You know, heavier lead transmits more feel up the line, and I'm able to find smaller clear spots. I'm able to feel what's going on better when using a heavy lead. To cast a 4-ounce lead, really long range like we are today, you're looking for a rod of 4 1/4, 4.5 pound test curve. I'm using the longbow from Daiwa, and it's the marker spod rod, so it can be used for spodding, can be used for your marker rod. When choosing a line for your marker setup, there's certain things that you want to consider. First of all, you want zero stretch, and braid offers that. But you need to pick the right type of braid. You don't want sinking braid. Sinking braid is generally quite thick and doesn't cast very well. So for your marker setup, you want a floating braid, has zero stretch. And what that allows you to do is cast really long range, feel the bottom, and should you pick up any weed, you know, which is muffling the sensation that's being transmitted up the line, with that zero stretch, you can shake it off, get that weed back off of the lead, and then you can continue to plumb. Obviously, I'm using the Korda marker braid. It's really fine, really supple, low friction through the rings, flies out there an absolute dream. Coupled to that is I add the 50-pound armour cord leader. Not only does it give me a bit more security when generating lots of power in big heavy casts, but it also enables the float to pop up much easier. So find the spot with the bare lead, the probe marker lead. Once you've got that all clipped up, and then attach the marker float and find out exactly how deep it is. So here's my marker float setup. First things first, cut the lead off, and then I'll thread on the boom section from the adjustable zig rig kit, and that just allows for any sort of minimal weed to not prevent the float from popping up. Next from there, I've got a cut down heli sleeve. You know, it's meant for a helicopter rig, but if you just cut that in half and then tie the braid to your marker float onto the swivel, this little rubber then just perfectly covers that over, and then it all knits together just like that. So we've talked about the tackle. Now we're going to talk about the technique to fish at long range. And there's a few things that you should be thinking about when trying to make a long cast. One is your foot position and weight transfer. You're starting with your weight on the back foot, and then you're moving it onto the front foot. And you're doing that by having your arms above your head, leaning back, and then as you go onto the front foot, that's the moment when the left hand comes in, it draws the bottom of the rod into your chest and brings the cast round. So it's weight transfer, arms above your head, and try and keep the rod as straight as possible when you make the cast. You know, if you come across sideways like that and you let go too early, it's like a slice like in golf. And if you let go too late, it becomes like a hook. If you keep that rod completely straight as it comes over your head, the lead will fly true no matter what point you let go at. Oh, look at that. Spot on. Obviously, I've done all the plumbing with the bare lead. I know that's exactly right. It's on the gravel. It's just a case of popping that up, and that'll give me a visual marker to then put my fishing rods to make sure that I'm clipped at exactly the right range.